This video was supposed to be about our trip to Whistler. We had this trip planned for well over a year, but thanks to Big Rona, the borders are still closed and we had to cancel our trip at the last minute. So while we weren't able to rip laps down A-line, or even do our first heli drop, we were able to do the next best thing. Many of you who are familiar with this view don't need any sort of explanation. But if you're not from Michigan, or if you've never heard of Copper Harbor, the first thing that you need to know is that it's absolutely worth the drive here. I say drive because when you're at the top of the Michigans Upper Peninsula, you're quite a ways from the nearest large airport. While the views here alone might be worth the drive for some people, we came here for something else. It's no secret that Michigan's Upper Peninsula is some of the best riding that the state has to offer. Riders travel from all across the country to ride rocky terrain that you won't find anywhere else in the Midwest. Jam-packed with features that are sure to keep you on your toes the entire time.
Ooh, these are wet.
Copper Harbor keeps us coming back every year, despite the 9-hour drive to get up there. After several years of making the trip north, we have definitely identified our favorite trails, and we make sure to grab them for our first couple laps every year. Danimal quickly made that list a few years back, so we decided to use it as a warm-up lap before diving into some of the chunkier stuff. Last year when we were up here, Danimal was closed the entire weekend because they were in the process of rebuilding the entire trail. Well, we were pretty bummed out that we drove all the way up there and couldn't ride our favorite trail that weekend, but it's apparent now that it was well worth the wait. The trail itself seems to have gotten a little bit wider, the jumps got a little bit longer, and this trail just seems to flow much better all around now. You can carry a lot more speed into all of the jumps, which tends to make everything a lot more enjoyable.
This got so much better.
After a seemingly endless jump trail, Danimal will eventually spit you out onto Garden Brook, which is a very fast, very flowy trail. It's very predictable, which makes carrying a lot of speed through this trail pretty easy.
Nice.
After getting warmed up with our first lap of our trip, we shot back up the hill to do some more technical riding.
Bomb into it, Rach.
When I was talking earlier about having some favorite trails up here in Copper Harbor, Overflow is right there in the top 2 spots. It's the perfect combination of a jump trail and a tech trail, and at least for me, it really pushes my riding ability. This was still only our second lap of the trip so far, so we still had a little bit of warming up to do, but some of the jumps on this trail are a little bit out of my reach, and some of the features have me questioning my riding ability altogether. But nevertheless, it's probably my favorite trail here altogether, and it gives me something to reach for every time I take a lap down this trail.
Ooh. It's the G out that scares me.
Spoiler alert, even though I really wanted to, I never rode that feature. I've never introduced him on the channel before, but you've seen him in previous videos. We towed Steve in with us on this lap, who's never rode this trail before or in Copper Harbor altogether. We ride with him quite a bit back home in Midland, and he just happened to be up here at the same time we were up here riding. Steve's a really good rider, but we gave him a warning ahead of time that even though it feels like a black diamond trail, there's plenty of double black features along the way. While some of the double black features have ride-arounds on it, there's still black diamond ride-arounds, and in order to walk some of the features, you almost need a climbing rope to get down.
Hold on, Steve might want to stop and look at that. Woo! So it's all rollable as long as you keep your butt back.
Yeah, butt back and low on the brake.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna walk it this time.
Okay.
I'm not really ready for it. The bugger to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, Rach. Yeah! Yeah! Sweet! You held on though.
At least in my experience, this is hands down the most unique trail I've ever ridden in Michigan before. Not only is it very uncommon to have any sort of rock work out where I live,
Say what? Or yeah, there you go.
having a solid mix of technical rock riding and a bunch of jumps makes the whole trail really interesting. And even once you've cleaned the entire trail, there's multiple lines to take on almost every feature, so you can always come back and make the whole trail much more challenging. I did a lot of filming on this trip. We rode in Copper Harbor for 4 days straight, and then shot over to Marquette to ride for a couple days as well. And to let you in on a little secret, there were a lot of crashes and a lot of mechanical failures. So to see what else that happened on this trip, make sure that you're subscribed.